What if the real secrets of wealth had nothing to do with luck and everything to do with what you're not seeing? Most people believe that the rich just work harder, invest smarter, or were born into privilege. But that's only part of the story. The truth is, the wealthy operate by a different set of rules. Rules they don't teach in school and rarely talk about openly. Today, we're going to explore 8 things rich people know, but don't talk about. These are ideas hiding in plain sight, subtle, psychological, powerful, and they quietly separate those who accumulate wealth from those who never escape the grind. Here at Fix Yourself, we bring you these topics to make you think, challenge what you've been told, and help you take ownership of your life. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Wealth is built in silence, not in show. Rich people understand that flashy displays of success are often the enemy of true wealth. They don't feel the need to prove themselves through cars, watches, or exotic vacations. Instead, they build in silence, quietly acquiring assets, stacking income sources, and reinvesting profits. They know that money grows best when left alone, not when it's being used to signal status. Poor and middle-class mindsets crave recognition. The wealthy crave control and freedom. This is why many self-made millionaires live well below their means. They're not cheap, they're strategic. They understand that every dollar spent today is a soldier lost in the battle for long-term freedom. Apply this by auditing your lifestyle. Ask yourself, am I spending to impress or to progress? Because the rich don't talk about this, they just move different. Lesson 2. Time is a wealth multiplier. Not just a resource. To most people, time is something they trade for money. But the wealthy reverse the equation. They use money to buy time, and then use that time to multiply money. It's not just about working hard. It's about buying leverage. They invest in systems, automation, teams, and compound growth. They know that the only way to truly scale wealth is to escape the time for money trap. This is why the wealthy are obsessed with ownership, not just jobs. They own equity, royalties, intellectual property, real estate, and business systems that work even when they don't. They protect their time like it's gold, because it is. They ask, how can I set this up so it works without me? Apply this by shifting your thinking from income to infrastructure, from effort to systems, from working in your life to building a life that works for you. Lesson 3. Information is currency, but not all information is equal rich. People don't just consume information. They invest in rare knowledge. They know that the most valuable insights are not public. They're found in private conversations, high-level networks, elite masterminds, and inside industries. They pay to be in the room where the future is being written. They know that one insight ahead of the curve can produce millions. That's why they don't rely on mainstream media or social media for money advice. They seek unfiltered, experience-based, execution-driven wisdom. They invest in mentorship, strategic partnerships, and advisors with skin in the game. And they keep their best knowledge quiet, because competitive advantage lies in asymmetry. Apply this by curating your inputs. Stop binging information that entertains but doesn't transform. Seek environments where high-trust, high-value conversations happen, even if it means paying to be there. Because access to the right idea before it becomes common knowledge is priceless. Lesson 4. Wealth is a psychological game before it's a financial one. Most people think money is just numbers, but the wealthy know it's emotional first. They've done the inner work to handle fear, risk, delayed gratification, and uncertainty. They've rewired their psychology to operate in abundance, not survival. They don't chase money. They magnetize it by becoming people who attract opportunities, trust, and capital. They believe they deserve wealth, not because they're entitled, but because they've developed the discipline and identity to hold it. They don't panic when the market dips. They don't let emotions drive their decisions. They don't see failure as loss, they see it as feedback. This mindset gives them the calm to invest when others are afraid, and to hold steady when the world screams panic. Apply this by upgrading your mental operating system. Read, reflect, journal, and surround yourself with people who normalize wealth. Because until your mind accepts wealth as possible, your life won't allow it. Lesson 5. Money is a game of patterns, not just math wealthy. People are not always the smartest, but they are the most observant. They don't just chase numbers, they study patterns. They look for behaviors in markets, in people, and in themselves. They identify what works, and then repeat it with discipline. They know that consistency beats intensity, and boring strategies often build the biggest fortunes. They aren't gambling. They're running proven models over and over. They track data. They review results. They refine. Most people don't lack opportunity. They lack pattern recognition. Apply this by identifying the winning patterns in your own life. What actions bring results? What habits compound? Study the cause-effect chain and double down on what's moving the needle. Because wealth flows to those who see before others react. Lesson 6. Reputation is more valuable than cash rich. People know that in the long game, trust is currency. A solid reputation can open more doors than a full bank account. It gets you deals, introductions, partners, and protection. When times get hard, reputation is what others remember, not your net worth. They guard their name like it's a brand, because it is. They understand that how you handle small things reflects how you'll handle big ones. They know that opportunity finds the credible, not the loud. That's why many wealthy people are low-key, consistent, and private. They're protecting their leverage. Apply this by keeping your word, doing clean business, and making sure your online and offline actions align. Because your reputation travels faster than your resume. Lesson 7. The tax system is a game, and they know the rules. This is one of the biggest open secrets. The tax system doesn't punish the rich. It rewards those who understand it. Wealthy people structure their lives through entities, deductions, depreciation, deferrals, and legal frameworks most people never learn. They don't evade taxes, they optimize them. They invest in assets that the government incentivizes: real estate, businesses, innovation, and jobs. They hire CPAs and advisors not to cheat, but to strategically engineer their finances. They know that how you earn matters just as much as how much you earn. Earn through wages and you're taxed at the highest rate. Earn through capital gains, dividends, or depreciation, and you keep more. Apply this by learning how money flows through structures, not just through jobs. Because the rich don't complain about the rules, they play the game better. Lesson 8. Not all debt is bad. Some debt makes you rich. Poor people fear debt. Rich people use debt strategically. They know there's a difference between bad debt, which buys liabilities, and good debt, which acquires income-producing assets. They borrow at low interest rates to buy real estate that generates positive cash flow. They use leverage to scale businesses that create exponential returns. They don't fear loans, they fear stagnation. Because when used intelligently, other people's money, OPM, can help you build wealth faster than your savings ever could. They know that credit is not about spending, it's about positioning. They understand the rules of credit scores, financing terms, and equity leverage. Apply this by shifting your mindset. Debt is a tool, not a trap. Learn to wield it with precision, and it becomes a ladder instead of a leash. Conclusion. These 8 lessons are not just secrets. They're mental frameworks that shape how the rich view the world. They're not mystical. They're not out of reach. They just require a shift in how you think, act, and invest your time and attention. You've now seen what most people never will. Not because it's hidden, but because it's ignored. If you're serious about building real wealth, quiet, strategic, and lasting, then start applying these lessons today. Here at Fix Yourself, we don't just inspire you, we equip you. If this content helped you see the game differently, subscribe now and hit the like button. Share this with someone who needs to level up, because the wealthiest thing you can do is think better. Until next time, keep growing.